Oh, exciting show for you today. We have a special guest. She's the queen of lymph. You've seen her on past shows. And matter of fact, according to Ashley, her shows are some of our most favorite shows because y'all love her information so much. This show will not disappoint either. However, we have another special guest who appears in the middle of the show. You're going to have to wait and see who that is. But you're going to get a view of a device that my doctors are using around the country. Oh man, we talk about the importance of lymph recovery. You're going to see it all here, and I'm telling you, you're going to end up sending this to your doctors and saying you need this. You're going to have to watch the show. Check it out. High energy, high fun. I want to give thanks to one of our sponsors, CytoDefend. Look, at a time like this, I think that our immune system and keeping our immune system up right now is more important than ever. I can also tell you that I pay attention to the things that keep my immune system on par and healthy. So glad that CytoDefend is one of our sponsors here on Cell TV. And it's a product that I use, my family uses, and hopefully you'll check it out. And by the way, you can check it out with the link right here below. If you want to try a free bottle, you can actually get a free bottle, just pay the shipping. And I think you'll reorder after that, but check it out.
If you're listening to this podcast and want to access the amazing CytoDefend product Dr. Pompa just mentioned, please visit freeimmunity.com. Again, that's freeimmunity.com. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Cellular Healing TV. I'm Ashley Smith, and today we welcome back great friend of the show, the lymph queen herself, Kelly Kennedy. We always love a deep dive into the lymphatic system, so we invited Kelly back to remind us of some of the best ways to nurture our lymph, as well as introduce to our practitioners a great in-office modality that could be offered to your patients. So let's get started and welcome Kelly Kennedy and, of course, Dr. Pompa. Welcome, both of you.
Thank you so much. I, of course, am so honored to be here, as I much love Dr. Pompa and all his team and all that y'all have done to help me educate people about my favorite subject, the lymphatics and regulation.
Yeah, look, Ashley told us that your shows, and if you haven't watched them, Ashley will put them in. Your past shows are some of the top shows. Ashley's words, people love you. And I do too. I think when they watch the other shows, they're gonna be like, is this her younger sister? Because your lymph work is working. You're getting younger every time we see you. So it's working.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I'm trying to keep up with the Pompas, as I said. You guys are a hard act to follow. Always, I feel like we have the Benjamin Button secret agent secret of how to actually stay young is help the body regulate, and then it looks easy. It is easy.
It is easy.
It is easy.
Do what we do, right?
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Hey, I see something we're going to talk about behind you. I'm very excited about this. I have it in my biohacking room. Look, I first was introduced to Flowpresso, as you call it, in your office. And it became quickly my favorite device because every time I was on it, it would put me in this parasympathetic state. I would fall into a deep sleep. My wife too, which by the way, is very hard to go from sympathetic to parasympathetic with her. I'm a little easier, but I would go into this deep sleep. So much so, this is true. This is a true story. At my seminar, you were there.
Yeah.
You were selling these units to all of the doctors, and so many of my doctors have them now and absolutely love them. So practitioners out there, you're going to want one of these and need one of these, and you'll see that in a moment. But they got them in their office. But in my middle of my seminar, which I'm on fire, I'm going. And then you're like, come on, let's get on the table. I'm like, all right, well, I do have an hour. I go in there, I'm out in the middle of my seminar, Kelly. I'm out like a light.
Yeah, he was asleep.
I was asleep. I got up, I was like, whoa, like that doesn't happen, right? So I say that it just makes me go parasympathetic, which there's all kinds of benefits when you go parasympathetic. Your lymph moves when you go parasympathetic. And that's why most of my doctors have this, because we do such high level detox and we have to get people in that state. We have to get lymph moving. this, athletes are using this technology for recovery. I'm going to let you explain all that. So, but yeah, I mean, Flow look, you do a lot of amazing things around lymph. And like I said, this machine is just a piece of that that does so much more. All right. So people are like, what is he talking about? What is it? So what am I talking about?
So yeah, it is an amazing piece of equipment that we are in the midst of getting class 2 level medical grade certification here, so we can make bigger claims than we are able to right now. But what Dr. Pompa said is so true. First of all, for a man to go, allow him to recover, and then go back on stage, he wasn't exhausted, he was peppy and ready to go, and just in more of a relaxed state, in what we call the flow state, because it really assists the body in regulation. And we know from in our past conversations that regulation is the key to the body going into healing mode versus staying in sympathetic overload. It's more in the digest, rest, and recover mode. And so what FlowPresso does is it offers 3 unique non-invasive therapies. One is deep compression. And deep compression, which it's a sequential, and we're going to have a special guest in a little bit that is going to come in so I can wrap her up in the suit. And
I know who the guest is. I know who the guest is. And she's been a guest on Cell TV. One of my doctors that you probably know, and I've been working with for a long time. Go ahead.
And it's funny because we couldn't have planned this if we tried. I just was like, who can I put on the machine on the suit when Dr. Pompa and I are talking? I was like, oh my God, that's amazing. I'm so excited. So it is a fully closed suit, but it's much like body work. You come in, you get wrapped up in this suit, you get wrapped up in your feet, your legs, your abdomen, and your arms. And then there's this deep compression sequential. So it starts at the feet and it's like compress, release, compress, release, compress, release, at this nice hugging feeling. It's not a squeeze like a blood pressure. It's a gentle hug that lulls you right into sleep.
Just you describing it, I feel like I might nap off, right?
Such a stimulating conversation. So, sorry, that's my ongoing joke here all week, folks. So the compress, release, compress, release, compress, release, what it does is it lulls you into this state of almost like a wave is going over your body. And we know from research that they've proven that deep compression decreases the stress hormone cortisol and increases at almost the exact same percentage, which is 31%, the dopamine, the serotonin, and the oxytocin. So it's really interesting that all the happy hormones are upregulated and the stress hormone is downregulated with deep compression. And then the second thing it does is it has nanotechnology, which is applied up in the thoracic area, because the termini, as you know from previous trainings, that the lymphatics drain into the cardiovascular system. And we want to create stimulation in that area because we want to have the atoms start to move. As they start to move, they create a vibration. As the vibration starts to move, it is stimulating the lymphatic flow. So when this nanotechnology is up there, it helps that atom changing, that flow, if you will, and it's not nanotechnology. So it's vibrational technology that's again applied at the back piece. And then the third piece, it has infrared. So this is not like sitting in a sauna and feeling the lights and warming your body up, although it does that. It's not about sweating. It's about driving heat into the core of the body. When, we know from bioregulatory medicine that cold is old toxins, and we want to have heat in the body, and we want to heat up the mitochondria at the cellular level. And so driving that heat in all the different areas is what is, it's like, Dr. Pompa loves when I said, it's hug you, love you, and leave. and it's a warm hug, love you, and then you leave, because especially today, like people are not in connection enough. They're not in contact enough. They're deprived of oxytocin from the lack of connection. And this allows us to reconnect with ourselves first and foremost. And, for people like Dan Pompa, who are so connected to his heart, it's a struggle for some of others. And FlowPresso assists people to reconnect back into their heart and allow them to have that inner peace. A lot of people, when they get off of Flowpresso, they're like, I don't know, I just feel more at home. I feel more at peace. I feel more connected. And that alone is a great and incredible gift. And then there's all these side effects we see on the heart rate variability of the increased parasympathetics, again, the decrease in the sympathetics. And, you know, we're researching this all the time because Desiree Despong, who created this, is a constant researcher. And like you, she's a scientist and just wants to drive in, like, why is this making such an effect? How? She's testing QEEGs. She's looking at where in the brain it's relaxing us. But what she finds is that we're trying to figure out, rather, is it that when you're in the parasympathetics, the lymph are stimulated, or is it when your lymph is stimulated, the parasympathetics tone builds up? And I honestly think it's both. So I'm so curious to see what the research continues to show us, because I think they go hand in hand. It's like you can't separate mind and body. You can't separate out parasympathetics and your body's drainage system working, because that's what your body's supposed to do, is get rid of the toxins. It's getting and circulating the nutrients as well. You know, we talk about it being a drainage system, the lymphatics, but it's also a part of the circulatory system. Really, it drains into the circulation, right into the heart, and it is its own circulation throughout the whole body. It helps the brain drain. And so how, by stimulating the body's flow through going into the parasympathetic, allowing the body go into that rest mode, how is that not engaging our amazing drainage system of the body?
Yeah, look, I mean, you can't make any claims, but I can tell you, my doctors who have it, the results are there. I mean, we are, detoxing people, like I said, at a very high level, and the offices that have it are able to take that detox even to another level, right? Look, athletes are using this for recovery, and some of the technology started just with, some people are going to say, oh, I remember that. Is this Normatec? Okay. Very different than Normatec, the technology, but the same as far as the pressure goes, right? And they would do the legs, and then they kind of started going to the arms because they realized that, oh my gosh, they would recover faster. How does this different than that? But yet athletes get even faster recovery with it.
Thank you so much for asking my question. That question is one of my favorite questions, actually, because not to put Normatec under the bus or anything, but it's not a customizable pressure. From the perspective, like if it's on your legs and they set it at a 5, the whole thing is a 5. And what we find is that humans are very unique, every one of them a different shape and size. And we want to give a consistent hug to the feet and the ankles and the calves and the upper thighs and the knee area. Forgot about the knee, the upper thighs, the hips, the abdomen, the lower arm and the upper arm. And they're all very different. Like we have 10 chambers that we can customize, not only the pressure, but the heat. Some people don't like heat. I find down below the Mason-Dixon, when my south office is, they like very little heat. I personally believe it's because they're detoxifying the sun rays more than our northeastern folks that are like, drive the heat in, I'm freezing all the time. When I opened up our little center in South Carolina, I had so many people say, can you turn the heat off? I'm like, I've been using this machine for a year. Nobody's ever asked me to turn the heat off in Pennsylvania. Nobody, no matter the time of year. But I noticed it when I spent 8 hours in the sun with Silas, and I got in it the next day and was like, ringing the bell going, turn off the heat, I'm overheated. Well, it's probably detoxifying those rays at some level, allowing that to, reheat my body up. So you can customize the heat and you can customize the pressure. And so there's all these, it goes on a scale of 0 to 20, and you can attest to this, right? If you go too hard, it doesn't feel as good. Less is more. And probably I'd guess that you and Marilee are probably at like 6s and 7s, maybe 8s or 9s. And it goes up to a 20. So there's a lot of customization of going deeper. Plus there's 2 modes. We have the relaxation mode, which is this compress, release, compress, release, compress, release. And then we have the sport mode for the athletes, like Arizona State University has it. We have a little cross team in Arizona. The rugby team out in New Zealand has it. And some other athletes here in Philadelphia are trying it out. And they like the second mode, which is compress, hold, compress, hold, compress, hold, compress, hold, compress, hold. And then it's one big release at the end. And so that is showing us in the body where there's tensions, where the whole body is feeling tension, so it can be relaxed in a different way and recovered from all that stress of constantly moving the physical body, the fascia and the muscles that get very tight from repetitive motion, right? Like a golfer is going to always have that same repetitive motion when they do. Oh, there's our special guest.
I didn't want to interrupt.
No, it's good.
Oh,
We were just showing, I was just going to show how to wrap somebody. It's perfect timing.
perfect timing.
Dr. Mindy Pels.
Was this my
Yes,
podcast? It works.
All right.
I just came to say it works. She didn't, she fixed me. I'm like all perfect now.
Yeah, Mindy, not to interrupt this, but are you sleeping around her office? That's what I did.
Dan loves to say that, sleeping around the
Yeah,
office.
I am. They like put me upright and then they walk to the next room and then I go horizontal again.
Yeah, I
And then-
know that feeling. Remember that well. The parasympathetic day is what you're having. So hopefully we can re-engage you here for a moment.
This is Mindy parasympathetic.
I was going to say our test dummy, but for Mindy, we'll call her our test model. How's that?
Thank you.
Very
Yeah.
good.
So I was going to tell you, now you can go back in the corner until we need you. No, stay right there.
Okay,
I just no, she can stay right here. Yeah, I was kidding, but I liked it. I thought it would be humorous, her back there in the corner while we do it.
Yeah.
So
Minnie in the corner.
I was like, there were so many jokes there. It would be, my wife, I just found out, doesn't appreciate or even understand my humor. Like I say
really?
jokes, and my kids were like, you never laugh at Dad's jokes. She's like, I don't even know he's making them. She takes everything so literal. Like I'm constantly joking. So I was just wondering how
I
much-
totally appreciate your humor. It's
Yeah.
very simpatico with my humor.
I think there's a setting on the Flow Presso for that. We just need to get her back here and like amp it up a
They
little
have
bit.
one.
Oh.
Yeah, no, I've tried to put her on the highest level and just like pop her, but she still doesn't get my humor. But anyway, see, that was humor. I say this stuff.
Good.
Good.
Well, anyways, that was a really good thing, though. I asked the difference of the Normatec and this, and just to summarize, it's there's a rhythm to how the body flows, right? How the body circulates, whether we're talking about blood, lymph, right? And that's really the magic around this, and the difference, I would say, although it does help recovery for athletes, as you pointed out. A lot of professional teams using it, but it also, when you change the setting, we can use it for, and that's why us, Mindy, right, in the world of detox, we love it, right? Lymph is a big thing for us. So
Yeah.
And I also will mention that as I'm sitting here thinking about putting Mindy on, Normatec and Balancer Pro and the other ones, they're very mechanistic. They'll go in and do manual work, but what Flow Presso is more of a vitalistic experience, because not only are you in this suit that's holding you, wrapping you, hugging you, warming you, microcirculating you, but then we add an eye mask, some essential oils, and affirmations, or you can do anything. But I firmly believe everybody needs more affirmations of self-love in their life. I haven't met the person yet that walks in and goes, I just love myself so much, I just don't even know what to do with myself. Never has it happened. More like I had not met that person that's just so parasympathetic they don't need a center like ours. So when that starts to happen, that'll be great. We'll all have a lot more fun things to do in our life than helping engage people to understand that the true healing comes from inside and engaging that innate intelligence. And we do that when we are desensitized to our own self-talk. And so by putting some serenity oil, an eye mask, not allowing us to see anything, putting earphones over us and allowing us to go into that deeper state, because now we have this, I particularly choose this beautiful Australian woman's voice that goes,
She's amazing.
you are bodacious.
Yes.
You are amazing.
Yes.
You are
That's
enough.
not only have I been sleeping through the office, this Australian woman has been telling me how amazing I am. I can barely I feel like a rock star right
You
now.
are a rock star.
gosh, yeah, come on, of course you are. So I actually want to kind of back up, and I want you girls to talk about lymph for 1 minute, and you both can speak to it, even though we've had past shows on that. But Mindy, I want to give you an opportunity. What's new in Dr. Mindy Peltz's life right now? You have some new things going on. Just very quickly. I don't want to steal the show.
Oh, in my whole life? Actually, this is actually really, do you know, you know what's new with me?
That's why I'm asking.
Yeah, it's so exciting.
I just got an amazing book contract, a book deal with Hay House to do. We're calling it, I think we're going to be able to keep this title, Fast Like a Girl. And it's going to be 6 different timed fasts and how women should do it. So it's a book specifically for women. So
awesome. You know, one of the things is that I can say about Mindy, coaching her for so many years, I bring the science, but Mindy always brings just a better way to communicate it.
Well, you know what, though, you were the launching pad. You know, I listened to everything you said about fasting and the variation and breaking the fast and moving in and out of feast, famine cycling. And then I just had to figure it out for me. And then I realized I got to figure it out for hormones. So you're like in my ear. And then I don't ever sleep. I like sit and fester on it until I look at it from as many angles as I can. So
well, you're about to sleep because she's
that's why I'm
That's
here.
how she needs us. Yeah.
Why I'm here. That's why I'm here.
And we're really excited because we know that she's going to be a New York Times bestseller with that book too, don't we?
Oh yeah, no doubt.
No doubt. I mean, Fast Like a Girl, that's like
just the name alone.
Title.
Yeah.
Such a good title.
Yeah, it was really a big compliment. They gave me a really nice deal, and it was just like we hear you, we see you, we know women want this, and it was really cool. So
well deserved. All right, so lymph. Let's you know, we're talking about lymph, we're talking about recovery, and you're not making any claims on the machine at all, but just a general, because we brought up lymph a lot. You know, let's just kind of review, if you can. Why do we want our lymph to flow? Why do we want our lymph to move? What is the consequences of not having lymph moving? What are the symptoms that I might have if my lymph's not moving?
So if your lymph isn't moving, oftentimes people feel, first and foremost, lack of sleep, bowel issues, headaches, anxiety, rashes, exhaustion. I'm sure none of us have experienced that either as clients or as practitioners. That's my sense of humor. And the reality is that these are, and Mindy can attest to this, Dr. Mindy can attest to this by looking at her live blood this week and doing contact regulation thermography. Detox is only as good as your drainage. If you don't drain your toxins out, because what the Pampa organization is so good at is moving it out of the cells, but then the space around the cells has to be cleared out, because we are more space around the cells than we are cells. So that's why this was such a perfect union. When I met Dr. Pampa, I was like, oh my God, you're the detox guy and I'm the drainage queen. And so let's work together and help people actualize their wellness from within, because they've opened up the emunctory, they've opened up their bowels, their kidneys, their lymphatics, and I would say their breath as well, because we breathe out more toxins than we pee, poop, or sweat. And I do believe science will prove me right one day that you bleed out toxins as well as from menstrual blood.
Of course.
That being said, when the lymphatics, which is the space around the cells, we have it from our head to our toes, and it's more concentrated around our joints and our neck, and our abdomen is 50% of it. And our termini, which are our most important parts, which then they're above the clavicle, kind of at the level of the ear. And we do teach people how to dry brush. We teach you how to do a simple manual drainage of the nodes. It's called node stimulation. There's just no way to talk about the lymph without it sounding sexual. But that being said, the node release technique is available on our website where they can learn how to do that. And one of the things I wanted to offer your listeners, your audience, your clients out there is a complimentary book. It's about 29 pages. It's worth about $65. And it's my compilation of understanding for people to get why the lymph is so important, but it starts with regulation. I mean, a good half of the book is about heart rate variability, parasympathetic, sympathetic, and taking a look at what that balance is or isn't, so that the body can go into the flow state easily and stay there regardless of what we're producing, that we can do it in a flow state that's more relaxed and coming from our heart rather than coming from our mind. And So that's what I have to say about the lymph. How about you? You got anything?
Yeah, I mean, I think the proof is still in the pudding, but but like looking at the live cell analysis, how many years have I been detoxing, Dr. Pompa? Like
Yeah, a lot. I still make the joke. I remember the first seminar you were at, you were the only one eating all day long. And finally you looked around and was like, oh, we're not supposed to be eating. And by the end of the seminar, you learn more about fasting and like, hey, eating all the time may not be a good thing. Anyway,
Right.
but
And
since
look at
then,
me
you've
now.
been
Now I'm writing a
detoxing since then.
fasting book for women. Like you've changed my life. It's amazing.
Absolutely.
No, but just to see that, gosh, there's still heavy metals there. And this, I thought a lot about this since yesterday when she did the cell analysis. I was like, okay, I've been detoxing for 6 or 7 years. But what I know about the menopausal experience is that as those hormones are going up and down, more toxins are coming out. Is it possible I'm trying to get the toxins out, the hormones are pushing the toxins out, but there's a traffic jam?
Right.
And it's not effortlessly coming. So when I first started to detox, I feel like I was getting those results where I was sleeping well, mind was calming down. And now, I'm about 90 days into menopause, perhaps, 90 days without a cycle. And the last year, there's just been a lot of, I feel like a bigger toxic dump, and I wasn't accomplishing what I wanted to accomplish with just supplements alone.
Yeah, I agree. The physical movement is very, very important.
Yeah.
By the way, Dr. Mindy, myself, and many of the doctors I work with, we have these units. So you put together, Kelly, a list of practitioners who have them, right?
Yes.
You can get that. We're going to provide that list because you're like, why are you showing us something we can't maybe utilize? We have a list of practitioners that have the units. Also, if one is not near you, you need to tell your practitioner, watch this show, send them a link to the show because he should get one of these in their office. It's transformative. And then it will not only benefit you, but hundreds or thousands of others. So we will provide all of that information. And Kelly, thank you for your book. You can get that's for free, right? We'll have the link for that.
Yep.
And then are you providing for the practitioners or people that want one of these? How are we doing that?
Yeah. So what we're going to do is give them $200 off the top. So it's right away. And then the training that comes with it is 2 hours, 1 hour typically with me and 1 hour with my assistant. But because they're the Pompa people, we're going to give the second hour is going to be with me as well, because I want to make sure that your practitioners are a little more savvy than most out there in the detox world. And I want to make sure that they are very well armed, if you will, with the right wording and the right protocols to assist them in assisting their clients' wellness through using Flowpresso. So it's about a $500 value additional that we'll give your Pompa people.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate that.
I'm kind of curious. We do all this on-off cycling, we do binders, and there definitely is an art to detox the way that you teach it. And I'm curious if that art flows, not to use Kelly's word, but flows a little easier if you open up the lymph like this, if it will just be a little more effortless for people.
I can tell you, yes. What I found working with very challenged people over the years is that supplementation only gets you so far with lymph, right? It can get you further with the liver or the kidneys, but lymph seems like the physical. And I say this all the time. And that's why your show is one of the top shows, because physical seems to work better for lymph, honestly. That physical stimulation, maybe it's because it's so surface. I mean, the lymphatic system is just under the skin in the fascia, which, by the way, we didn't even talk about the fascia, which this device actually approaches the fascia. Maybe we say a little word about that, and then seeing is believing. I want you to show that. That's why Mindy would be here anyway. If Mindy's in the office, she'd be on the show anyway. But we'll put Mindy in so you can actually see.
I'm like Waldo. I just pop up.
Where's Waldo?
That was brilliant. Yeah. Kelly's very clever. Kelly's so damn smart. She planned this whole thing. I'm telling you.
I could have planned this if I tried. Sure. Your schedule, my schedule, no problem. Mindy's schedule, no problem. The fascia is the skin under the skin. And as you had just mentioned, the lymph is superficial, but lymph flows throughout the whole body. There's deeper lymph nodes. And to your point, like we all love the virtual practice. We had a conversation about this the other day, but it doesn't allow people's tissues to move, and the issues are in the tissues. And so in addition to
Yes, they
getting
are.
her into Flowpresso, we did a lot of node releasing. We did a lot of that with you when you and Marilee were here as well. And we use our hands, we have another piece of equipment, and then let's get them in the parasympathetic state as much as possible. The more parasympathetic, the deeper we can go. And the simple manual technique, the dry brushing, some topicals that we use, all assist the body to really unplug. And what I was saying to Dr. Mindy is, like, I find with the Pampa organization, as they come to the center, it's like it accelerates everything they're doing so much faster than the typical person that walks in with chronic illness, chronic pain, because it's simple that we just have to unplug y'all.
Yeah.
And then once we unplug you, you move. Like, that thing. Can we talk about that thing that happened to you when you were here?
Yeah, sure.
Just put my armpit in Dr. Mindy's up. Nice and
You
right.
smell okay.
So
This one.
we were moving Dr. Pampa's lymph, and all of a sudden one day, much like Mindy, was like, "Hey, you caused this. Look." She like yelled at me the first time she did Flowpresso. But there was like this enlarged lymph node. Now, he had a lot of neck pain after a cavitational surgery, and as we moved, and it was on that same side.
Yeah.
And as we moved the lymphatics, as we did the manual pumping, as we did our other flow technique, rapid flow, we started to mobilize it out. And it took about another, 2 to 3 weeks after you were here before that finally completely dissipated by continuing to do lymph nodes. And
She told me I have a puffy pit, and like that just sounds so bad. It was such an insult. So literally, my goal was like, oh my God, like I'm not going to walk around with a puffy pit. That's terrible. It sounds horrible, actually. It's so embarrassing.
And it was only one puffy pit, right?
Yes.
The other pit was.
And it was moving toward, it was like watching a car literally
It was
move.
a
It was
unit
like this
pit.
big, and it was like literally moving.
Yeah.
It was really intense. And we, it wasn't that intense, honestly, and then how was your neck after that?
Yeah, no, it was, remember, I called you, I think I was heading to New York from there, and I was like,
Yeah.
okay, that was amazing, right? I was like, I could turn my head further, so interesting.
Yeah. And so by continuing, now he has his own way to assist his body into the parasympathetic so that his lymph can move, and his own Flowpresso. But that is the tissue movement is so key. And the fascia is the skin under the skin that holds it all together. If you were to de-skin Dr. Mindy,
Oh,
she'd
God.
be a big bag of fascia. It's as thin as nylons, but it's very interwoven like nylons, and that it really it held together by collagen, right? That's such a popular thing right now because it is your electrical panel. That's how I see the fascia. It's really like where the meridians lie, where the chakras lie, and it's your skin under your skin that like holds it all together. And you have fascia on the outside as well as fascia around every joint, every organ. And we get adhesions in the fascia, which stop the lymphatic flow. So by opening up the fascia, allowing the lymph to flow, allows those cells to continue to true cellularly detox. Ooh, that was good.
Yeah.
I didn't even plan on saying it that way, but that's how it came out.
Well, that was good. I can tell you my personal experience is this machine does just that, what you just described. Mindy, she has such a way of diminishing us, the puffy pit and which bag of stock. I don't know. Anyway, all right.
And then we get on planes and we fly here to go
And I love you all so much.
All right. Well,
My
look,
favorite
let's squeeze Mindy. Let's just. see
Okay.
what
We're
pops
hugging,
here.
Mindy. We don't squeeze.
I know.
But I have to say my experience, because this is I've been on it 5 times now, I think. 4 times. But I think the first time I did the athlete one where you squeezed me.
Yeah, and it was at a seminar, and
Yeah.
it was too tight because I didn't know Mindy well enough.
Ah,
and
no, it's
I didn't
fine.
do a proper history. I didn't know she had scars, and she, like me, was like, I like it tighter. I like it tighter. And it was in the beginning. So I was like, okay, tighter. And that wouldn't.
Yeah, so the first time, I think of it as
No,
all
because you have to see, you didn't know Mindy. Mindy's like more.
Right.
So it's not good at all, right? Yeah.
Right.
Who's that like? I don't know. Me.
I don't know anybody
That's
like
right.
that.
So basically, like the first time I was a bag of tears. I got off hour later. I crawled in the corner and was like, I just want to cry. Yeah, exactly. Second time I was angry. Yesterday, I noticed when she was doing it, I had anxiety. Today, I felt really blissful. So I'm curious if it's just like you moving that stuff through you. And,
through all the other lymphatic
Yeah.
work we did. Yep.
yeah. And then, just now I was doing the lymph work with Sarah, and woo, I started getting downloads. At one point I was like writing my whole book. I was like,
Awesome.
I got a whole chapter download. That was cool.
That's
So
awesome.
there's an emotional piece here.
Well, lymph is about
That's
letting
really
go,
cool.
and we're in the parasympathetic, we can let it all go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
really cool.
It's
So-
awesome.
Let's see what we get out of Mindy today.
Okay, let's see
figure
what.
out-
And our second
You
one
never,
today.
you never quite know what's gonna happen.
Nope, always an experience.
I say we put her in extra hard just to see if we can get more emotion. More emotion is great. It'll make for a really good show. So
Yeah, you see the alter ego of Dr. Mindy.
Scoot down.
I just thought of something. What are we going to talk about while you're putting her in? I mean, are you that good where you can actually speak, or
Yeah, sit up for a minute. So I am, but she's not listening. So this is the back piece. This is applied. Aw, and then she lays down.
Did you see the way she just pushed me around?
And
I
then
told you.
wrap around her waist. Very simple. It's not too tight. It's just a gentle hug. And then, yeah, I'm going to talk about for both clients and practitioners. One of the greatest things about this is you don't have to take your clothes off, and you can be in a room by yourself.
That depends. That depends. We'll leave it at that. That might not be the greatest thing, or it could be the greatest thing. So who knows?
Depends where you're at.
Depends if you're Tommy Mako and he likes to take his clothes off, or maybe he's telling us something more about Marilee that we didn't know. I don't know. But yeah,
I'll leave it at that. No,
they're
there
both
wasn't.
Scorpios, that's all I have to say.
Oh, do Scorpios like to take their clothes off?
Something like that. Do activities well.
Yeah,
So it's
Mindy's like, so wait a minute, I don't have to take my clothes. They've always been making me take my clothes off.
Exactly. I could do this naked. What?
It was
You
because her
actually-
husband was the one putting her in all the time, and he said he read the book and it said, take your clothes off.
Oh, what?
No. That's my humor again. I see, I make a joke and everyone takes me literally.
Oh, yeah. That time I was like, what's he talking about? So it's very simple. I mean, what I love about this as a practitioner is that I can set up the protocols. In the beginning, I did all the initial consults until I had a staff member that I could train. And then once I had Sarah and she learned how to do this, she and Bree, actually, my other staff member, do the majority of the initial flow prezos with clients. And then once their settings are set, it's just ready to go and they don't need any more assistance from me. So as a practitioner, it's great because I can get consistent care for the client, really allowing them to go into the parasympathetic. And I don't have to depend upon, everybody's got a different touch. And as body workers, it's difficult to often get that consistent touch and that consistent hold and then they got their own crap, oh, it's a bad day, I got a flat tire to work, blah, blah. And they're bringing that energy into this. Whereas this is just about you and it's allowing you to mirror back yourself in this nice state. And she's got her whoop watch on, whoop. So we're gonna be able to see how that does. And it's as simple as that. Then we close these
now she
eyes
looks
and we
like-
say goodnight.
She looks like the Michelin Man. Yeah, there you go. Now we can see her face. We got to see her face just in case you squeeze her too hard.
Can you see her okay?
Yeah, perfect. And so just so everyone knows, there's a machine that was in the background you saw the whole time, that white machine to the screen left. And then all of those tubes are connected to it, which is basically creating that flow that we talked about. The pressure very unevenly. It's not just squeezing one leg, it's working up your leg to your thorax, the arms, etc. So there is a method to the madness. And then as we were describing, by the way, you can dial it in so well that you can squeeze the lower leg more than the upper leg and less, you get it. You can adjust it because believe it or not, it is a little different for everybody. So you can customize the squeeze and still take advantage of the flow.
The hug, not the squeeze.
The hug. You
Just
like
realized
the hug,
it's just
yeah.
my abdomen talking to you.
Hug,
but-
hug sounds a little more nicer than squeeze.
Yes. And so where it's at right now, I can't see because now I'm at this height.
Yeah, I actually
Exactly.
like 8s and 9s. I mean, I do. I like it a firm hug.
Yeah, and as
You're
long
like a firm hug.
as, you know, I'm sure you're taking binders as well after it, right? And
Oh, yeah.
electrolytes, because you want to make sure that whatever is, you know, being elicited from the tissues
Mhm.
is both bound to move out, as well as electrolytes to replenish the body. Most people get off this and have to pee right away.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So right now it's at the bottom of her feet. It's
So
moving.
maybe not to disturb you, but kind of describe what you're feeling.
Yeah.
It's okay. I've been sleeping all day, remember? So
Yeah,
I
exactly.
talk. It feels like somebody's squeezing you and in a really nice way, but it alternates. It kind of goes in, like I feel it right now at my calves. I really like when it squeezes like my abdomen, pelvis area. It feels good.
When it hugs.
Hugs, sorry.
The reason I use that terminology is because I think I want people to understand that less is more with the lymph. And with the crowd that I'm speaking in right now, self included, that is a learned behavior of
Yeah.
hugging versus squeezing, and really allowing the system to stay in a parasympathetic mode. If it's a squeeze, you're going to get in the sympathetic. We want this to be gentle enough that she can fall asleep, but not so light that she can't really feel it. So
Right.
we call it the clutch point in between a squeeze and a barely, you know, like I think about an avocado when you go to the store and you're looking for your avocado. You want to hug the avocado a little bit, but not so hard that you punch holes in it. And that's, we're just hugging her like a little avocado. Make her a little guacamole.
Love avocado. It's instant relaxation too, I would say. Like you could jump in this with a busy mind, and within a minute, your mind is shutting down.
And by the way, that can go on any massage table. It could go on the floor. It could go on any table, really. So, because looking at it from here, you'd be like, is all that table part of it? No, it's just that unit to the left. And then, like I said, the thing that's draping over the table. That's what basically, it could be any table.
Yeah, this is a mattress we typically put on a massage table. We did do it once on Daniel on the floor, which was probably the funniest experience I've ever had with.
That's right. I forgot about that. Yeah.
Because boy, when that boy wakes up, you know it. He's
Oh, yeah.
very aware. He's very,
Well,
very.
you know what? Actually, okay, hold on. He actually had a similar reaction that Mindy said she had. He like woke up and he was agitated. Remember?
He woke up, he's like, I'm too hot. Threw his
Yeah,
hand
right. It was like, I gotta get. Yeah, exactly. I was like, okay, yeah.
up, like,
And meanwhile, we sat there for like 30 minutes and had like a relaxing conversation. All of a sudden, he pops up like, you know, oh my God.
and that's why it takes training to that point. And we would love for every client eventually to have this in their home, but until such time as the world understands more about parasympathetic and sympathetic, and it's more common knowledge, it much more feels appropriate to have a practitioner oversee somebody going through this, because when you're in the parasympathetic, anything can happen. You know, one of the bioregulatory rules is anything can cause anything. And when your body's in a healing mode, anything can happen. And you need to be suave enough to manage that. Now, that being said, 90% of people or 99% of the people feel great when they do Flowpresso. And because we've learned how to go slower, how to go through each area and customize it. I crank these numbers up a little bit. Are they a little too tight?
No, we'll see.
We'll see how. Yeah. Look, we're gonna let her.
You gotta go home with me.
I know.
Yeah, I was gonna say we're gonna let her enjoy her thing here in a moment, but I do want a text or a Voxer to like. How did she wake up? Did she wake up crabby? Did she wake up more emotional? Was she crying? Was she like? Who knows? We'll find out.
Oh, tomorrow? Yeah.
Whatever.
So after this, yeah. I'll let you know. Don't worry.
And you can customize, like, because of the size, everybody's a different size. We have smaller legs, smaller arms that practitioners can purchase. And because, you know, and larger ones as well. So some of the athletes needed a larger leg. So we were able to accommodate that. And it's got a great warranty. This thing honestly is like, I don't want to say it's a workhorse, but it's a workhorse. Like I have 4 of them across the country, 2 in this center, and they literally just keep showing up day in, day out, and they're amazing. And the clients, what I find is most clients, we do a series of 6, and then they start to want to back off because they feel so good after the third one. And then we do typically 3 more just to make sure we're reinforcing that engagement of the parasympathetic, and that's now a natural state of flow. And then we start to go every 2 weeks or every 3 weeks. I try to stay once a month, but I find that nobody wants to wait a month. They want to come back in 3 weeks and do it again.
Yeah.
And so it's really easy for both the client, because they can come in the middle of their day, just like Dr. Pompa experienced, in the middle of a seminar, being the star of the show and being like, oh no, I'm going to take an hour, do a flow presso for 40 minutes and hop back right up on stage and have this even a better energy and a more cleared mind, because he was able to be in that parasympathetic and not up here to deliver from the heart, which he always does. It just made it easier for him probably to deliver from the heart.
Mindy, did you know that story that during the
No.
seminar, I mean, literally, she was like, come on, let's do it. Look, you have time. You have an hour. I'm like, okay, why not? You know, I'm like, I'm not going to be able to calm down, right? You know, it's like you get geared up for a seminar. And I fell sound asleep. And I woke up, hit the stage. It was like, that was that.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a little addictive feeling. Like you get off and then you're like, I want to get back on. So I could see where people would want to come back the next week.
Well, I think that speaks to the additional happy hormones that it creates, right? When you're in the parasympathetic, you're reducing the cortisol with the deep compression, and you're increasing the oxytocin, the serotonin, the dopamine. That's a drug effect. Our own pharmacy inside, though, is making it and allowing our body to feel those happy hormones. And of course, we want to be more of that. But this is really an entrainment system, I find. It entrains me to learn how to really be and relax. And, you know, I love Marilee so much, but her energy level makes mine and Mindy's look like we're turtles. And my claim to fame is Flow Prezzo puts Marilee Pompa to sleep. What more do you need to know?
Yeah, it's true. It does. As a matter of fact, we should just keep her in there for every day. I think let's start the day. My brain's going. See, I'm gonna put her in there right when she comes home today. Anyway, yeah.
Jokes.
Yeah, exactly. But she still doesn't get my jokes, even if I keep her in longer. I tried that. But she always accuses me of like, you have it up higher. I'm like, I have you at your setting. I swear I'm not just trying to squeeze you to death. I'm not. And I use the word squeeze there appropriately.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm trying to hug you, honest.
Really tightly, honey.
Yeah, really tightly. But no, that's my wife's joke with me. But anyway, yeah. So the fact is that I said this earlier. Practitioners, if you don't have a practitioner with one, you can look at the list. You know, see if one of our doctors that have them are near you. Kelly's providing that list. If not, tell your practitioner, send them the link to this show, because I promise you, if they watch it, they're going to want one, and then you'll get to use it. So spread the word.
And it's always, we're always updating as practitioners purchase them. We're always updating that map so you can find a practitioner near you, because there's a few each week that's increasing. And we wait about a month to add the practitioner to the website so they know they have proper training and experience with it, with their typical client base, so that they understand the unit and what it can do for them. But yes, that's exactly right. Thank you so much.
Yeah, well, thank you for always being on. We love you, as you found out. Ashley said, man, everyone loves you. Should we give Mindy the last word? What does she have to say over there?
Now I feel like I'm going into my parasympathetic mode.
All right, we'll let you go. We'll
No,
let you fly.
I would say that I mean, beyond detox, I think there's so many uses for it, and you literally have to try it once and you fall in love with it. So, I mean, look, like how many of us have gotten on a plane and flown here to be able to use it? It really,
Yeah, many of us. I think that's where we got addicted. There you go. Great last word. So thank you. Thank you both. Thanks, Mindy. Thanks, Cal. All right, bye. Hey, I want to tell you about one of our sponsors, Cyto Detox. Look, podcasts cost money. There's a lot of production going around this, but we are grateful to have Cyto Detox as one of the sponsors. It's so easy for me to talk about the product because myself and my family use it constantly as we practice what I preach. For over 15 years, I've talked about and taught doctors and the public about cellular detox. And I'll tell you, Cyto was a breakthrough. Cyto was a breakthrough for us. And it's changed so many lives. So we're grateful that they sponsor Cellular Healing TV. It makes sense, doesn't it? They should.
If you're listening to this podcast and want to access the amazing Cyto Detox product Dr. Pompa just mentioned, please visit detoxoffer.com. Again, that's detoxoffer.com. Well, that's it for this week. The materials and content within this podcast are intended as general information only and are not to be considered a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. If you would like to purchase some of the supplements mentioned on this show, please visit the site asseenonchtv.com and use the code CHTV15 for 15% off. Again, that's asseenonchtv.com. Use the code CHTV15 for 15% off. And as always, thanks for listening.